we're making macro great again. That's for sure. I mean, these are fascinating markets. The difference, it seems to me, is that there definitely is a more strategic bent in this administration than the first one, in the sense that the president certainly has views of how he wants to be different than previous administrations and how he wants to truly change the global trading order. And we could debate whether it's good or bad, but he clearly wants to make a much more profound difference. And before, the old the adage was you could take the president seriously, but don't take him literally. I'm paraphrasing a reporter who followed him on the 2016 trail. Now I think it's clear that the difference is you got to take President Trump both seriously and literally. He means what he says.
Hey, Joe, I'm just rewinding just 3 months ago, and the term that we heard in this studio time after time after time was American exceptionalism, talking about the economy, the exceptional U.S. economy relative to the rest of the world. Boy, how times have changed just in 3 months. What are they thinking?
Well, from listening, I mean, they were after the. Stephen Miller was longest serving aide, I think, was quite clear last night. And he said, they're trying to change things that's going to have a multi-decade change in terms of global trade flows.
Why are they changing something that works so well for the United States for 60 years?
But let me answer. That they are going to say is debatable.
What's debatable about that? Let me finish. Hold on.
Let me answer the first question you asked. I just want to finish that. The point is that he's looking at things not in terms of where GDP is this quarter and next quarter, but rather where are we in 26, 27 and beyond. And we could debate about the outlook, but they're not looking at it in the short term. They're looking at it over the duration of the administration and then where we go afterward. So I just want to couch that in the proper timeline.
What is your outlook for the U.S. economy, Joe? And maybe in terms of GDP, have you changed your forecast? Have you changed your inflation forecast?
We have not changed our forecast yet. We were relatively bullish on growth this year and do see inflation coming down. I mean, in light of yesterday's announcements, which definitely were they were more aggressive than I had anticipated, and there actually is more certainty in what I had expected. I thought that, we saw the initial headline of 10% on everybody. That fit my priors, but actually we've got some details on how they wanted to, structure these reciprocal tariffs. I'm like, oh, actually we have some certainty. The tricky part is what happens now? Is there a negotiation, or are we going to stay very strict on this tariff structure? Now, you mentioned exceptionalism in 60 years. I hear what you're saying, but within that 60 years, the last 25 have not been that great in terms of U.S. No, hold on. They've not been that great in terms of U.S. real income creation. So if you look at basically how did President Trump get in office in 16, it was largely because there was virtually no real income growth from 2000 to 2016.
Right.
And in the first 3 years of the Trump term, you had very large gains and real household income across the spectrum. So exceptionalism is a broad term. I would not average it over that long period.